You should have fit this building with fire escapes!
Oh, fire escapes are for fannies!
Good evening. Welcome to Xbox Tavern's X-Pod Tavern episode 117th. I am Jamie on this lovely Sunday evening, and once again I am joined by MPV Graham.
Hello.
Hello, MPV Graham. That was just for you, that was.
Yeah.
We've also got Millie Manny in.
I have no idea what that was about, but hello.
We'll discuss the game later on, but Ross, bring in special, Scottish Gruff Ross, come in. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Oh, I thought I'd just enlighten everyone with the very vital knowledge that fire escapes are indeed for fannies on this Sunday night at 8 p.m.
Yes.
Yes, so like I said, if you're here, welcome. Xbox Tavern, X-Pod Tavern, episode 117th. We're starting off a bit more of a jovial note because I'm pretty sure it's all going to go downhill pretty quickly as we discuss the games we've been playing as well as the news of the week, etc., etc. And so, gentlemen, let's just get into the game in a moment, shall we? We're going to start with what we've been playing. I know Ross hasn't played a great deal of it, but there's obviously a lot of news around it as well. So I figured we'll mix in the news, we'll mix in what we've been playing, we'll mix in a bit all together. And that is the recent release of Redfall, which was on, was it Thursday last week? Friday last week? Something like that? May the 2nd, very recently. And I think it's fair to say that not only did it not hit the mark, it sort of went to the side,
country mile.
Got a bit lost, did a bit of a spin round, and then has never been since. Yeah, I reviewed it for the website. You can go read it now on xboxtavern.com. I gave it a whopping 4 out of 10, which is way lower than I ever expected to give an arcane game. And obviously, there's been very mixed consensus across the board. I was reading some more reviews earlier on, which we'll discuss later, I guess. But you got some that were giving it 9s and 9.5s out of 10s, and then you got 2s and 3s and 4s like I gave it. So, yeah, not impressed at all. Not impressed at all. I think for me, it was, as I put in my review, it's just there was no fun to it, as it were. It was great fun playing with Graham where we were playing before it came out, and then I've played a little bit of Ian and Graham as well. Yeah. But it was only fun because you're playing with people. It's not fun because, oh man, this is a great game and I'm playing with my friends. It's like, well, this is a fucking boring, dull, crappy version of a looter shooter that I'm only suffering through because we're having a laugh and we're taking the piss out of the bugs and the vampires and all the love eggs that they spit out. And it's just, yeah, it's a completely disappointing. It's not the worst game I've ever played by any means, but considering this was supposed to be like the big tentpole Xbox game for May, and starting off this year with obviously Starfield later on and various other games, I'm sure they're announced soon. It completely whiffed it. Just utter disappointment. There's no. I was reading some reviews. I forget the website. I don't want to name and shame anyone or pick on anyone in particular, as it were, but there was a 9 out of 10 review I was reading, and they were like, "Oh, the world feels live and vibrant, and there's so much things to see and do and find." And I'm reading, I'm like, did we literally play a different game? Because the world, it looks okay. Like, it doesn't look stunning by any means, but the visuals in terms of the style and the actual graphics aren't that bad. But there's nothing to see. There's nothing to do. The very little that you can find in some of the houses is not even really all that interesting. The enemies are boring to fight. The vampires are fucking annoying as shit. There's just no fun to be had again other than playing with your friends. And if you are playing on your own, you're absolutely fucked. Ross, you said you got up to like the fire station. You're going to the vampire in the basement. Yeah. How have you? That's obviously very early on, and the only bit that I would say I actually really enjoyed on my own was that opening section doing that, because it was like, oh, I could see how this might expand. The stealth elements or sneaking through the boat or getting up to the fire station. You got the different ways of getting in. I'm like, oh man, this is exactly what I want from arcane game. But even then, I was like, it's still not like I want to see how it develops. How are you finding it so far?
Well, what they did was they shat the bed on the stealth element because I can't think it was. I think it might have been special guest Pete that said it as well. Is like there's no stealth kill option.
Yeah.
So when you first play the fire station level, it says like go through the front entrance, take out all the guys that are there, go around the back, pick a door, or try and go through the roof. So I was like, I'm going to go around the back, see if I can like sort of stealth my way through the back. And there are a couple of enemies at a car. I was like, cool, sneak up to the first one, give me some sort of like melee prompt that I can just like stab it in the neck or something. No, punch, which does no damage. So then it turns around and starts shooting you. I'm like, why? What?
I find the back stealth kills very hit and miss because, like you said, sometimes you punch them and they'll be like, "What the fuck you think you're doing?" And other times they just go flying across the room as if you've like Kamehameha them. Like,
Yeah. So I was like, given this is a game from the people who made Dishonored, I'd have thought that'd have been like the perfect like match. Can do the stealth kills so you can like go through it without having to worry about firing a weapon and just use like stakes and things like that. No, just punch or rifle butt or whatever it is.
And hope for the best, basically. So you said you haven't actually fought the first vampire yet, which is in the basement. Again, it's very early on, but like obviously we're all busy times. Have you seen like clips of people fighting vampires? I assume you've seen.
Nope.
Well, you're in for an absolute treat because they are the most annoying enemies I think I've ever had to fight in a game. Graham, we played a lot obviously together. Tell me about how annoying the vampires are because I can't express how boring and tedious they are to fight.
Well, I never literally had no troubles with them.
It's not they're difficult; it's that they're annoying.
They're just so random. That's what it is. Like one vampire you can kill absolutely fine. The next vampire could just literally kill you in 2 seconds. It's like, where's the consistency? There's no levels or anything like that. It's not like it's like this vampire's level 12 and this vampire's level 2, which is why it was easy. No, it's just one can work you, one can do it. And there's the one annoying one is like the siphon one that pulls you in.
Oh yeah, that's the only one I literally had a sliver of difficulty. Other than that, I never found any difficult ones. My issue with Jay was that there was literally not enough enemies, and we were just fighting over who could get to the enemy the first, just to get some entertainment. I think for the first hour and a half, we were literally just fighting over who can kill someone because there's just not enough enemies to fight.
Yeah.
So what level have you played it on?
We stuck to the
middle one.
The default one. I forget what they call it,
Dusk.
but yeah, it's effectively dusk. Yeah, effectively medium,
Yeah.
and then there's one above that, and then there's one
That's
above
locked.
that, but you have to unlock it by completing the game. And again, it's not that difficult, but where the stealth, like you were saying, Ross, on the human enemies doesn't really work. You can't stealth the vampires. As soon as you get anywhere near them, even if you're creeping and crawling super slowly, they suddenly be like, "Huh? Someone's here," and then they start sort of looking around.
Oh no, I never issues. That's probably just because you're playing with Graham and he's fucking.
No. Even on my own, like I was proper sneaking up behind this vampire, and I was nowhere near him, and he was like, "Huh? Who's that?" And he started.
I can still sneak behind vampires, but as soon as you hit them, it's like half the health, so it's absolutely pointless.
Yeah, because you have to whittle their health down so you can stab them with a stake, and if you don't stab them with a stake in time, then they regenerate all their health, and you've got to go the whole fucking bullshit again.
Yeah, and that's annoying because if you have a gun that doesn't have a stake, you like shoot them like, oh shit, so quickly try and switch guns just so quickly get in time so you can.
Yeah, so you can use things like fire and electricity to get them as well, but that requires you be near one of the many cars that just explode while you're looking at them and stuff like that. But it's the way they zip around as well. Like you shoot one from a day, they teleport behind you, which could be fine because it's like, oh, where are they going to come from? But it just ends up being annoying because if you're in a house, for example, and you're fighting one, it'll teleport behind you, but also teleport through the wall, so they can't hit you. You can't hit them, and then you've got to go and find them again. And they're still in the mode of they're not like trying to hide from you. They just teleported behind the wall, and then they're like, "Come here!" And I was like, I am here. Come fucking find me. You can like, I'm ready to fight you. Come here. I'm waiting. And especially if you have more than one or two at a time, it just becomes so tedious because you might knock one's health down, and then you got 2 or 3 that you're still fighting, and then you can't stab that one, so then they regen, and then you got to knock that, and it just endless. Just not enjoyable at all. Ian, you said you tried to play some on your own last night. Did you have much luck? I know you were having server issues, but.
Well, yeah, I kept after about constant disconnection from the server issues, which is annoying on its own because if you're playing solo, you should be allowed to be offline, or at least not. We're disconnecting because you're constantly just like, especially when you play for a mission, you get disconnected. Then, okay, well now start a mission again. It's not like you can go halfway through, and some missions are fucking miles across the map, and it's like, for God's sake, so you traverse all the way over there. You just get there, you disconnect. I had one where I was doing a nest, just about to start getting the loot. Before disconnected me, it's like, great, no loot for me. It's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, and the
So it's
nests,
just annoying.
the nests are dreadful as well. Like they were built up as this big, like almost like dungeon where you go through and you've got loads of loot at the end and you got to fight your way through. And I think me and Graham, and I think Ian did one with us as well, where maybe 2 or 3 in total. And then I've done a couple of my own, and they're just boring. There's like 4 vampires. They're as annoying as I just explained to fight because they just keep darting all over the place. You get to the end, and the whole idea is this massive heart. And once you've unlocked the heart by freeing the enemy, the trapped people around it, you've got 1 minute to run around and loot all the different pods that are around. And you expect, like the way they present it is like once you unleash this heart, like shit's gonna go down. So you're like, right, I'm ready. I unleash it. There's no enemies. And it's just a case of open this bag. Right, let me pick up 10 guns that I can't use. Okay, open this bag. Oh, another 5 guns I can't use. Another 5 guns.
And then you're trying to find the exit.
Yeah, where's the exit? I found the exit. Right, I've got 10 seconds. Okay, let's get out. And what did I get? A load of weapons and shit that I can't use that I can turn into currency, which is pointless, and a little bit of XP.
Why can't you use the guns?
Well, let me explain to you about the leveling system. Leveling and gun rarity. But Borderlands, Ross. You're obviously well aware of Borderlands.
Yep.
Division and stuff like that. Obviously, you've got different rarities of items. You've got like rare, common, legendary, etc., etc. Yeah.
Yep.
There in Redfall, you've got that as well as levels. So you might have a level 3 legendary gun or a level 6 common gun, and chances are the level 6 common gun will be better than the level 3 legendary one.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense, sort of, but the way they present it in the menu, it doesn't. It's not clear to see which is better, which is more valuable to you.
You have to go for all the stats, make sure that's
and
damage.
You can compare the weapons, but it's just the way they've laid it out. Rather than saying like all the best guns at the top, all the worst guns at all like highest level, blah blah blah, which you can sort it, but I find the sorting system is fucking dreadful. It makes no sense that like I found a gun early on which was really good, which I could stab people and get some health back. But by the time I got to like level, I think 14, 15, something like that, it was only a level like 7 gun. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't damaging anyone anymore. So I might as well just get rid of it. And now I've got a shitty gun, which doesn't have any perks to it just because it does more damage. And there's no way of upgrading weapons or keeping them or even trading them with these guys. Like when they started, I couldn't give them weapons I couldn't use. I just had to sell them off for currency, which you can buy weapons with, which are pointless because you get so many given to you anyway. Med packs or... what's the other thing you can buy with ammo?
Ammo or can you buy lockpicks or not?
Yeah, lockpicks and stuff like that. Which again, you get there's no.
That's the only useful thing to buy. That's the only one useful to buy. I find is lockpicks and wiring tools. But then I don't think you can buy them. Actually, I haven't checked wiring tools.
Yeah, you can buy wiring tools as well.
Yeah,
but
the same place. Yeah.
It's just the whole level, the way they've done the loot for the guns. It's like, oh, you're always getting new guns, but then you have to go into the shitty menu. Which did you play Deathloop? I can't remember.
Yes.
Did you have a problem with the menu, the way they laid out the menus and the gear and stuff in there? Because I thought that was dreadful. That was the worst part of that game by a country mile. It's awful the way they laid it out with the like the Destiny cursor style thing floating around, and it's got
I don't like cursors for that, but it didn't bother me overly.
It's dreadful and dreadful. Honestly, it's like you move the cursor, it sort of snaps here, there, and everywhere. And then when you highlight something, it puts a text box over the rest of the stuff, so you can't even see what else you're looking for. And it's dreadful, utterly dreadful. Like they could have just been auto sort. Right, this gun is good. Okay, I'll keep that one. Bin the rest off, or trade them, or upgrade them, or store them for later or whatever. But it just does not work whatsoever. But that's my biggest problem, I think, with it is that loot system. It doesn't. All they need to do was say, "Here's a gun. You can keep it and upgrade it, or maybe later on you might find a better one." And the other thing with the guns as well, and I'll let someone else talk. Sorry, is you collect so many. Like at any point, I would have had like 15 guns in my inventory, but you can only equip 3 at a time. But there's 5 types of weapons. Yeah. So you can have like a stake launcher, a pistol, and a shotgun here. But if you haven't, like Ian said, if you haven't got a stake on one of them, you need to then equip a gun with a stake. So you need to get rid of one of the ones you want to use for a gun that you that don't want to use that has got a stake on it. And there's no weapon wheel. You have to just cycle through it. You can't hold, like in Far Cry, hold down the Y button and it goes, assault rifles up, shotguns left, miniguns right, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like a weapon wheel, like that, something. Nothing like that in this whatsoever. So you just got to, you can't pause the game. And it's just.
I found it the hard way. You can't pause. I had to pause to go to
inventory is dreadful. Oh, yeah, I'm bashing on it a lot. I realise that, but I wanted
No,
to get
it's
the
widely
big stuff out of the
so.
way, which was the inventory is awful, and the weapon systems and levels and gear and all that crap is dreadful. It's an utter waste of time. Because I think the shooting is pretty poor, but it's not the worst shooting. Like, it would be serviceable if you could have a weapon that you got used to and sort of stuck with. So if you say, I really like this assault rifle, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to upgrade it. I'm going to put some attachments on it and stuff. It might not be so bad, but because you're constantly having to change a gun, because my level 6 gun is now no good because I'm level 10, and now I've got a level 10 gun which I don't want to use, but it's the only one I've got at the minute, so I'm going to have to use it because otherwise I'm not going to get anywhere. And yeah, it annoys me. It annoys me tremendously. Anyone else want to have a whinge or say something positive perhaps about it?
Well,
Something
Well,
positive.
that was what I was going to say. Is there something that we can at least have as a positive about it?
It's a good score for my competition. Because no one's playing it. Everyone plays it for the first minute and gets a achievement and go, I'm not playing this again. So there's loads of people playing it, not many people completing it. So
yeah. So Ross, obviously we bashed it a lot there. You've just started. We still got to get the four of us together because it is our Project Game Pass game for the month of May. And I would like to play as a foursome because I haven't managed to do that just yet. The powers as well, Ross. Obviously, you haven't unlocked the powers yet because you don't get them until you get past the section where you are. I played as Layla. I can't remember. Who did you pick, Ross?
Jacob.
Jacob. And then Graham was Devinder, was it?
Dev, yeah.
And Ian was, I can't remember his name.
Raven.
Oh, no.
Oh, you picked Jacob.
Raven.
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 No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. That was his bird. Bird.
Fucking bird.
So much was made pre-release of like the different
These
classes,
powers
and
could be
there's no you can combine your powers and stuff. But when I picked Layla, like I said, and she's got the lift ability and she's got the umbrella which sort of blocks damage, and then you can fire it back out as like an area of effect type thing, which in theory is good. In practice, on your own, both of them powers are useless because you got hardly any time to use the umbrella. The umbrella is not as bad as the lift, but it doesn't have this. Like I would need someone like Devinder with his crow or something to district them, so I can use my.
No, Jacob.
Sorry, Jacob. Sorry.
Jacob's the crow.
Or Devinder with his wonderful electric arc.
Yeah, his javelin, my shit javelin, don't forget.
Yeah,
and
but
the
her
teleporter,
lift,
which you have no idea where to throw.
Yeah, so his teleporter and her lift ability are just useless because even I've upgraded her one to throw you up as high as it'll go. And even then, most of the rocks and the cliff faces and stuff are too high to get up. So you still have to fucking walk around anyway. And the only reason you would do it is to get up on top of a building, but the vampires can just teleport up to you anyway. So it's not even like you're getting an advantage of being up higher than them because you turn around like, hey, behind me. Fuck. Okay, right. Turn around and go back down again. Yeah, they're obviously made for people to play together, but they're even together they don't work. But separately, they're just completely underwhelming.
Jacob's good on his own because when Jacob's on his own, it just kind of works because you can just cloak and just run to the checkpoint or the objective, pick up what you need, and then it goes, teleport back to the fire station. Yep, okay, teleport back, and you have to kill no vampires or anything. And then you kind of that's the way to get through quick. Just get through quickly. Just get through. Get to the end before I get disconnected.
Jacob's the best person to cheese the game.
Pretty much,
basically,
if you want to run
the best one. It's almost like the Forza thing.
The Forza thing. You just don't get it to hold that, and away we go.
Yeah.
Just cloak, run to the end. Yes, fine. What annoys me? Go on. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, so what annoys me as well is the fact you have the kind of like the vampires and stuff. But then you have also the human characters as well that's in the game that are trying to. But I don't understand why the human characters are against you because they're killing vampires, you're killing vampires, and so they go, we killed them together. Nope, I'm going to kill you now. So for fuck's sake, we just killed vampires together.
Enemy factions. You got the ones that work with the vampires, the cultists. You've got the Bellwether who are supposed to be there to kill everyone, and then there's another cult later on in the game, which obviously again working with a different set of vampires. But like you said, like the Bellwether guys are there to kill the vampires and stop it getting out. Like, if you don't attack them, then why do they attack you? And even if they do attack you, they're so fucking useless.
They're
so useless.
Shotgun bullets and they're dead.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to whinge about just then. Oh, yeah. No, I was going to be positive, actually. Let's have a little sneaker positivity in there for a moment. We were doing a mission, Gray, where we're in a house. We had to get the dolls to put in the kids' dollhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, the dollhouse, I did that.
I didn't realize that we obviously didn't finish it, or perhaps my save didn't save or something like that. So I had to do it again. And I got to the mansion, and I was sneaking around all the vampires. I found my way in through the roof. I got in without being seen. I did most of the quest without being seen. And that I was like, oh, actually, you know what? I quite enjoyed it because I was like sneaking around, or like I like to do a bit of stealth action, very enjoyable. And then I got spotted by a vampire. Everyone just went, there they are. And I was like, oh, fuck off. Jesus
Shit
Christ.
hits the fan, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was just a massive firefight with, like I said, with shitty guns that I didn't want to use anyway. I only just made it out because there were so many of them in this tight little roof area I was in. And then that was it. That was the only time I ever felt like this might be like an actual, like, proper arcane game where I can attack things the way I want. The rest of the time, it was just running, start guns blazing, no time fucking around. Just what's the loudest gun I got? That one will do. Bang, bang, bang. Right, off you go. I
mean, that's the same kind of situation. I had to do like I guess positive side. I had to do a vampire nest without being seen, and again, that's up for classic achievement, and that was good fun because again, you're going stealth. You're trying to dodge the vampires because all the vampires are sleeping in the nest, so you can kind of quickly dodge them. But if the watcher sees you, to quickly cloak so the watcher doesn't see me and get past the watcher, and make my way slowly through, destroying all the hearts and stuff. And again, as soon as you destroy the hearts, all the vampires disappear and die. So the reality is, I did the thought, okay, that's interesting. So I went for another vampire nest. I just completely full tilt sprinted to the nest, dodging loads of vampires. All the vampire stuff woke up, destroyed all the hearts. Everyone just died. And was, oh, well, there we go. So again, it's like two ways you can do it. You can just go full tilt sprint one to the end, get the heart, destroy the heart quickly, and everyone dies in the nest. Or you can do it nice and stealth, slowly. Yeah. So Graham way and a Jamie way.
Yeah, and that's what we were looking forward to, was a bit of like improvisation, a bit of, you know, play it your way, as it were. But other than rare instances like you just said, or the one I just mentioned, it doesn't work. Like, you go into an area and you either get spotted straight away, or the enemies are so fucking stupid. Like, there was one I broke into this gas station, I think it was, and I killed a load of enemies, and then I set off an alarm, and 3 enemies spawned outside, and they were like, huh, what's that? So I stuck my head out the window and I watched them run past me, run round to the other side of the building. So I jumped out and I followed them behind them. They open the door, they all run in, and they're like, huh? Where are they? Where are they? And I'm literally just standing in the doorway, just looking at them like, I'm right here. And they're just like, where are they? So I shot one, and the other 2 were like, oh, he's dead. Yes, that was me. Where are they? Oh, fuck off. Jesus Christ. Like, just come on. There's no reason to explore the world. I saw, again, I don't want to name the review or whatever, but someone said that the world is packed with lore and detail and so many things to find and see. And I think I found about 50 million fucking post-it notes everywhere with people writing down.
God, I'm not reading any shit.
But there was nothing in terms of like actual intrigue or interest. There was a few side missions which, I mean, you got to fix that popcorn maker, Ross. It's very important you fix the popcorn machine.
Fix the popcorn machine.
Very
important. That is key, very key. Important,
and even the main missions are pretty poor, really. I know we said about the example, I think, well, between ourselves, of putting a watch on a gravestone, which is the most stupid. Like, it's a main mission. It takes about 20 seconds, and there's no point to it whatsoever. And like Grace said,
back as well.
And we can take it back as well. And so we were, like he said, we were racing to the missions. Like, we'd set one off, and I'd be getting some ammo or stuff, and Graham would be like, right, see that? He'd fucking leg it across the map. He'd be there, killed all the enemies before I even get anywhere nearby. But in order to accept the missions or to clear out the missions, hand stuff in, you have to be together. So then you've got to wait for the other person to catch up to you, and then be like, right, here you go, here's the mission. And like, there's safe houses.
And there's no jump forward,
not just together, but right next to each
literally
other.
right next to each other. Yeah. So there's safe houses you unlock here, and you can
and you can't force teleport them either. Like, say,
well, yeah, because I was gonna say, like, in Borderlands, like, if you can be the other side of the map, then if you like try and fast travel or try and turn in a mission, it drags the other person back to the next.
None of this. No, it's just waiting. Waiting.
Yeah. So
you can't progress. Wait.
This So the safe houses you can find here, and you can go in, you can clear them out, you can sort of redeem them, as it were, by yourself, which is fine. You go inside, and every single one's got a mission to do. And
they're fun. They're more fun than the storyline.
They're okay, but if you go in there and go to the mission board, you can't press I would like to do this mission until the other person is stood right next to you. Not in the same vicinity. Literally stood right next to you.
They've got to be facing the board waiting for you. Like same with
so if I can't even say, all right, I'll go over here and I'll get a few missions, you get a few missions, and then we'll go and do them. We have to be together to go, yes, we would like to do this mission, please. Okay, great. Now, to be fair,
you can do one at a time as well.
Yeah, and you can separate as far as you like. So you could be literally on opposite sides of the map, no problem whatsoever. But again, if you find a mission, you're like, I want to accept this. I can't because they're like 3 miles away and I have to wait for them to get it.
And if you want to finish it, you've got to wait for them to be near you as well, I think.
Yeah. And there's just so many baffling like choices that have been made. Like, I mean, how long was it delayed? Like a year? And it's been in development for who knows how much longer than that. And it's just
it's so unfinished.
So like I put at the end of my review, it's disappointing for a game from Arcane, like massively, but it's just a disappointing game overall. It could be from anyone, it doesn't matter who it's from. It's just not a good video game whatsoever. There's very little.
I feel they've missed something. That's
do you think do you think 6 more months would have fixed it?
No, not unless they did some drastic changes.
Exactly, what they're going to have to change quite a lot for it to make it. Let's change the whole loot system. That's the only thing I can really say. The main thing is the loot system. That's what's dreadful. They don't really need it. It's pointless.
That's the thing.
Because they can't even trade guns. You don't even need that whole loot shooter. You can just have basic guns.
Like I said, like in Far Cry, you just pick up a gun. You got a machine gun, shotgun, sniper, whatever, and then just get your wheel going around and just like this today. Right now I'm going to use this gun. Done. And then again, we can upgrade it. Maybe you can find better versions, but not have just a mess of here's all of your weapons at one place. Right now, you've got to pick 3 of them and hope for the best.
And what would be good as well is like you say, some weapons have perks. You could use the currency you get to unlock those perks for whatever gun you're using. So, say for example, you want your stake to heal you a bit. That could be a perk in your gun wheel. So you pick that perk, and then time you stake someone, you get health no matter what gun you're using. But then again, you doesn't need it.
Go back to like what Jay says is he had that gun that did heal, but it ran out. Even if you were to go like to a workbench and you dismantled that gun, which gave you like the perk,
that perk, yeah.
So then you could put that perk on like another gun once you
something like that, yeah.
As long as it had like slots to put perks on them, for example, like not every gun will have slots for perks, but if you find one you like and it does, then you can at least have some sort of use for them.
Yeah,
and there's no grenades, which winds me up.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no grenades or anything, but
I didn't really notice that or something.
I think
all you've got is the thing.
Graham's characters.
It's got a flashlight.
Flashlight?
I mean, that might have improved the game, if they come with a flashlight.
It's an interesting way of dealing with a vampire threat.
Well, the secret lore of the vampires, if you ever notice that when you kill vampires, they leave like a dust pile behind, and the loot that you tend to get from them is their wedding ring and sometimes a crystal egg, which you can wonder where that was stored.
Yeah. Got a nice love egg for you. Another positive, because obviously pre-launch, there was a lot of hubbub about the frame rate and oh my god, it doesn't look very good. And in its defense, I mean, the visuals are very stylized. A lot of people have been picking apart like this almost static cutscenes, which I don't really have a problem with. It's not the end of the world. Like I didn't even consider that an issue until I read other people's reviews. And they were like, they don't even have fully animated cutscenes. So are you watching the cutscenes? They're not very interesting. Just skip them. Or can't skip the cutscenes anyway. No, but yeah, I mean, I had no problem with that whatsoever. And the visuals, although everything's a bit weirdly scaled, like there was one image of a guy and he looked like a kid compared to this desk that was next to him, which was like 3 times as big as him. It all looks very strange, but the frame rate, rock solid as far as I'm concerned. I know Digital Foundry done there. I couldn't tell you what's going on, but the Digital Foundry did theirs and they found the frame rate was a bit iffy in places, which it is, but for the most part, the 30 frames, not a problem whatsoever. It's just everything else pretty much. It's a problem. Yeah. 30 frames, lovely. Played nice and smoothly. So that whole hubbub was worth nothing. You should have been angry about literally everything else. So Ross, you excited to play some more Redfall this week?
He's got to change his character to Remy though. That's about it.
You're really selling me on like not playing the other game I've been playing this week.
No, that's fine. As long as you change your character to Remy to not make me angry, you're fine.
And the only other problem we've got, obviously, is I'm right at the end now. Graham's not even begun his game yet because he's been playing with me the whole time. Ian's done his. Ross, you've only just started.
I'm like half
the lack of progression is going to be an issue, because I could drag you all to me, and then you'll all be way under leveled, or I can come back and help you like we were doing with Ian the other day, and me and Graham were way over leveled, and we were just rinsing through them. So we were trying to let him kill everyone, and then we just stepped in every now and then when he needed a hand or whatever. And
the funny was the first vampire.
I was about to say,
the vampire. Go on.
I was about to say, you might as well let us join yours. There was freaking slim pickings fighting enemies when it was just the two of us. With Ian as well, I only shot someone out of boredom because there was literally nothing to do. Yeah. It's not like Ian was overwhelmed. It was like Ian's just trying to fight his way through. He's not in danger at any point. And then I just one shot killed him. It was
just a case of like, let me just have a quick shot of one.
See, I don't understand how games can't have, like, it's not a difficult system to implement. Borderlands have absolutely hit the nail on the head with it. If you add players, the amount of enemies increases. So that's the basis of it, right? So you always find
it's literally like a factor in the code. You say, if one character, one enemy. If three characters, three enemies.
But then even to the extent to do with like progression. So if I'm 80, which is your Borderlands max character, and Jay's level 1, and I get Jay to join my games, there'll be the same number of enemies regardless of who joins whose game. But when I'm fighting them, they'll be level 80. But in Jay's game, they'll be level 1, even though it's the same enemies.
Yeah, World of Warcraft do the same.
So Jay never loses out, and I don't need to worry about like fucking pea shooting every single solitary thing that I see. Yeah. And it works perfectly, because then nobody has to worry about, I'll need to gain 10 levels before I can jump in your game, or I'm 2 hours behind, so I can't go to where you need to go to. Or it's just, I don't understand why games can't like just agree on certain things. Yeah, be different on different things, but certain things you just use a bit of common sense and make it the same for every game.
Yeah, and like obviously the progression is a trickier thing, because like I said, Graham's unlocked all of it. Well, played the missions through me, but he hasn't unlocked them himself. Whereas if you were to join me, you were skipping a lot of missions, obviously. But yeah, it's just it's not difficult anyway. So having 4 players mix and match in the levels. I don't understand why it can't be done. I'm not very clever in that respect at all, or in many respects
but
indeed.
There's so many games that do it. It's level scaling. Yeah. Like World of Warcraft do it. I said Borderlands do it. It's all about level scaling. You just scale levels, or you join your game, your character gets a plus 15 levels, but still is level 2 when he plays his game. Yeah. But he's in your world, he's the same level as you.
Yeah. And at the very least, you get to keep your levels and your weapons and stuff, all the stuff you loot.
But not your story progression.
Not your story progression. So, if you end up going back to your game, Ross, for example, after playing with us and you're level 10, you'll start the game at level 10, and then you can just rinse through it. You fly through the enemies, obviously. But the other thing, in terms of like levels, there's a skill tree and stuff which you can unlock perks, like I said, upgrading Layla's umbrella and lift and stuff. But even in, how long have I played now? 20 hours roughly. And it's been... I'm not even halfway through the skill tree. It takes so long to even gain a level. It's just tedious.
I think, and the only time you really need to use, like for me, I've only really used my skill tree to, again, make more my cloak last longer, just so like I can fucking stealth longer. Yeah. So a vampire sees me, I just cloak and vampire goes, "Where's he gone?" And then you just run through.
I must admit, my skills that I'm unlocking now, I'm just unlocking because I get a point, not because there's anything I actually want to use. Because like, I'm like, well, I'm at the point where I've kind of got everything I need. I don't need any of the rest of the stuff, so I might as well just spend it on something. And when you do finish the game, there's new game plus, but there's no way to replay missions. So you effectively take that character and you start again for like fully however leveled up you are. So like I said, you'll start the level at 0 point at level 10 or 12, and you'll just absolutely rinse through it, and there's no point to it. And obviously then you have to do the same for all the 4 characters. There's 2 more characters coming in DLC in the Bite Back edition, which is one they very kindly gave me. Very kind, thank you. But I don't know, unless they come in the next month. I doubt I'll be even remotely interested in being like, you know what, I'm going to play Redfall again and see what these new characters are like, because I'm already bored of it, and it's I've got
what powers do they have? Do you know?
No, they haven't revealed any information. I think.
Do you think they could have a Fallout 76 No Man's Sky turnaround?
It depends on whether they put the effort in. Basically, is the long and the short of it. Like Fallout 76 took years. No Man's Sky took years. I don't know if there's enough here to be worth the effort to put in. But it depends if they put the effort in the right places, like sorting out the loot system and the leveling system and packing the world with more enemies, then it could prove to be something entertaining. But
I don't know if it needs more enemies. I think it just needs more fun.
It needs more, because again, like in Far Cry, you don't go more than like a minute before you pass an enemy convoy or an activity or some wild animals or whatever. In this, you can literally go for freaking minutes at a time, and then when you do find someone, they die instantly, and then you can just keep going for another couple of minutes and you don't see anyone again.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's what. Yeah, I was trying to look at my game earlier.
I'm bored.
Yeah,
the thing, especially when you're finding it, you're just trying to get through all the side missions and all the missions quickly by stealthing through. You think, am I doing the game right? When I see an enemy, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm about to fight this vampire because we're annoying. Stealth, one away.
Yeah, but even then, even if you do
the siphons are the worst. Because they just fucking pick you up, throw in the air, and just launch in. They take like 3/4 of health. How are you fucking doing anything?
And that's the other thing. Like I said, the enemies are pretty dumb. In that example I said about the gas station. But I find you kill 10 enemies, vampires or soldiers, whatever, and they won't even bat an eyelid. You get one, and like you said, they'll just absolutely rinse you by a single shot or a single hit. And like, where the fuck did that come from? You're no different to anyone else. So why did you kill me so quickly? And the rest of them barely even, tis but a scratch and all that. Like, just. Yeah, it needs, like you said, Ross, it's possible, but it will need a hell of a fucking effort, and I'm not really sure it's going to be worth it in the long run, because things like Back 4 Blood, Left 4 Dead and stuff, obviously we fell off. I mean, I love Left 4 Dead, but we fell off of that pretty hard, and that was a much better made game than this to start with. So yeah, they're going to need a hell of an effort to pull it out, I think. And anyone else got any more thoughts on Redfall? Should we move on from bashing? I think
as we've crucified it as much as we have, we should promptly move on.
I mean, I'm gonna keep playing it. So at least I think I'm glutton for punishment, because I want to keep playing it. Just to see what the second world's like. Second map's like.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we definitely need to play as a group for Project Game Pass anyway. And I haven't quite finished it. I do want to finish it off completely. And I want to see if 4 players might make it a bit more enjoyable than a solo, or even in 2 or 3 player co-op, because there's got to be some hilarity to be had at some point, surely. And we can see out who can get the most vampire love eggs in the 5 minutes.
We can join Ross as well, since he's a newbie.
Oh, I don't want to start again. I want to finish the fucking game. Restart again.
Ross has got to start again anyway, so you might as well.
Well, yeah, but we buff him up and then he can run for it. Anyway, that's enough bashing Redfall. We'll get back to bashing a bit more Redfall later on when we talk about the news of the week, including Phil Spencer's interview on the Kind of Funny X-Cast, which is very interesting indeed. But we're going to talk about some other games we've been playing right now, gentlemen. And I've lost my list. Let me quickly look. I'll tell you what, let's go to Ross, because he didn't have a great deal of input in the Redfall chatter, because he's not really played too much just yet. So Ross, as much as it pains me to ask you, what else have you been playing this week?
So I'll start on one that you might be interested in, and then I'll move to one that I'm fairly certain that you're not going to be particularly interested in. But I've been jumping into the new Star Wars game.
Yes, very nice.
Jedi Survivor. Very much the same as the first one. It sort of follows the God of War principle in that. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Some of the new planets, absolutely beautiful. Loads of different wee things that they've added in. So I think you've got 5 different stances you can sort of fight in your lightsabers this time. So it adds a bit of difference in the gameplay, including one where you can like run around with a blaster. So 1 blaster, 1 lightsaber, which is quite a nice wee or an interesting mechanic. When you think of Jedis, you don't really associate them with blasters. Storyline so far, it's about trying to restart the Jedi Order. That's the sort of early tones that it gives you. I've only, as much as I feel like I've put hours into the game, I think I'm only on like the 3rd planet that you can go to. Coruscant, when you get to that, in one of the first missions, is absolutely stunning, which is the big sort of metropolis in the Star Wars series. And it looks absolutely incredible, especially when you can traverse it as well. You've got different parts where you're sort of jumping from sort of big open buildings, and you can plummet all the way to the bottom of Coruscant, which is quite a scary proposition when you're leaping same as sort of the Assassin's Creed, where you're trusting to go from one building to the other and hope you don't, for some reason, just slightly change the angle of your jump, and instead of jumping to the side, you jump back the way. But no, really good game so far. Same idea with the difficulty. It's not a Souls game difficulty-wise, but as it was in the first one, if you ramp it up to even the sort of middle or sort of second highest difficulty, some of the mini bosses can be quite challenging. There was like the infamous one on the first planet in the first game where it was the big sort of frog with 6 eyes type idea. That makes a return in this game, and it's a fucking bastard. Yeah. Overall, really enjoying it, enjoying the whole backstory of finding it, the different things that happened after sort of Order 66, where the rest of the Jedis that you didn't know had survived went. They've introduced a similar sort of system to Assassin's Creed, where you've got like bounties. So you know how in I think it's Odyssey, you'll have like the gladiators that will come and hunt you down. They've done a similar sort of thing in this, where you can get unique weapons, unique skins and stuff like that by hunting down these bounties. And then you've got like an overall 2 legendary bounties at the end, which I presume will be characters that will be fairly synonymous with the franchise. But no, really enjoying it so far. It's what stopped me from playing a bit more Redfall, and the fact that apparently Redfall's shit.
I was going to say, I think out of the two, you made the wisest choice there.
Yeah. So no, really enjoying it so far. It's been a properly enjoyable wee start off to the game.
Happy days, very good. Anyone else playing Jedi or interested in playing Jedi? Because I must admit, it's not one for me. But
I really am. I'm ashamed that I didn't go back and properly finish the first one to sort of get into this one as well. It's definitely on my list to do, but it's a massive game, so it's hard. You can't just take it lightly. So yeah, it's one of those you're gonna have to commit some proper time into. Yeah, but yeah, I will. We'll play it eventually, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll come to EA Play at some point in the next year or so, I would have thought, so we can check. Is there a trial on EA Play, Ross?
No. Not that I remember seeing.
No. So yeah, they obviously do some, don't they? But I don't remember if I've seen one for this one or not. But I'd be interested in trying it. But yeah, like I said, I didn't really enjoy the first one at all. I think I got up to that said frog beast you were on about, Ross, and I was like, nah, I'm out. I'm not really a Star Wars guy anyway, so kind of I'm out of this. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it at least, and hopefully we'll get some more feedback and reports next week. That would be wonderful. Let's go to Ian now then. Ian,
really? Me?
Tell me about a video game you've been playing.
Have you been playing Redfall?
I've only been playing
not Redfall, please.
Redfall. Yeah, no, not much else. I'm afraid this week I've been a busy boy.
You're working on your competition.
Yes, so a lot of list of games that I'm not really worthy talking about.
Cool. Well, let's not talk about the games.
What we're talking about is probably this Minecraft Dungeons a little bit. Obviously, there's no trailer for that, but we've just been playing a lot of that with my son. He seems to be getting the grips of it. I think he enjoyed playing Minecraft Legends on his own. So obviously that one I can't really play with him. So I'm playing Minecraft Dungeons with him. And he seems to be doing quite well. We're doing a lot of the tower mode. He seems to really enjoy that because where we do the other like the levels, my character's like level 52, 54, and he's like level 3. So I just destroy everything. And he seems to like, oh, well, this is no fun. So, but the tower mode is very much similar playing field. So I could start a new character maybe, but he's like, no, let's do tower. So he seems to really want to do that. So every time we're doing that, I think the first we've got tower level 23 out of 30. So do quite well.
Yeah, not bad.
It's good. It's fun because obviously with the tower mode, it's all like from scratch, and you build your character up as each floor. So each floor you kill a few mobs, and then you can pick up a loot item that you want to go up to the next tower level. And obviously we seem to have fun doing that, try and mix and match it. So yeah, he seems to be getting really well of it, and he actually survived longer than me today.
Oh,
we lost a
student becomes.
I know. I was too aggressive and got killed by flames. Oh, Daddy!
Were you distracted by an achievement popping up or something? Achievement.
No, just getting too aggressive. Like, come on, start.
And so, before we get to Graham, then, how is your achievement competition going? Obviously, you're away for most of the month, so I know you were going to give it up at some point soon. But how are you ranking? And what score are you at? How's your team doing, etc., etc.?
Yeah, team seems to do well. They're going to, see the solo side. I'm just going to pretty much get myself eliminated. Probably in 2 weeks' time, I imagine, because I only got like 2 days to cram in some games. and then another 2 days afterwards when I get back from Portugal. But then when I'm in America, I'm on my console with me. I have my laptop with me to do some quick games I have on my laptop. But apart from that, yeah, solo-wise, I'll probably just use bonuses or get myself eliminated. But team-wise, we're doing well. They're going to carry me for the 8 weeks I'm off, they said.
Yeah.
And see how we go.
Happy days. Well, hopefully they keep you in the competition ready for when you're back, and then you can be like, I'm back, bitches. June is my month of achievement collection, even though I'm retired.
That's a stag do. Even though I'm retired. Well, stag do.
And stag do, yeah. Well, maybe one night.
And then Ollie's wedding as well. But
yeah, for the stag do, that's what we're going to do. Get your gamer tags. We're going to.
Everyone's going to play this game.
Achievements. I need to get 50,000 G's in one night. Let's do it. Yeah, nice. Graham,
so you play FIFA, Gray. Jamie, you play Just Dance because I know how much you love it.
I love a bit of Just Dance. I haven't played Just Dance for ages. Anyway,
actually. What have you been playing today? You were playing some random singing game I kept seeing online.
Me? Oh, my Singing Monsters, playing with the kids.
Well, that's a good game.
Yeah, they were
about
playing it
about
earlier on, yeah. Well, I think Graham, you reviewed it, didn't you, Graham?
I did review that one. It's a great sort of party game. It's almost like a Fusion Frenzy kind of, or like even Mario Party bunch of mini games, and they're kind of well designed kind of mini games. Some of them are pretty fun, and kids enjoy playing it. And the Singing Monsters is almost like the least point of that game. It could have been anything, but
it's just a TV show license, I think, isn't it? But
okay.
The games themselves, they're great fun. Like Graham said, they're like 30 seconds a minute max, and it comes from doing a quick race, or who can collect the most X amount of things in 1 minute, or who can survive the longest, or who can jump over the obstacle. And it's good fun. They enjoy playing it. And it's easy for even people like they got their auntie playing with them today, who's not a massive gamer, and she was like having a great time as well. Sort of just taking part in the mini games, get a bit too competitive perhaps, but enjoy.
Very simple that even sort of young kids can play that one. That's why it's kind of good. But it's just it just literally might as well be Mario Party mini games. 2v2 and 3v1 and stuff as well.
So it's well worth a check out. I don't know about the achievements. I'm sure they're pretty easy to grab hold of, but definitely worth a look. Nice. Graham, tell me about a game you're playing though. What have you got on your list here? Let's go with. Well, go on. Let's get out of the way. Let's go with it. Tell me all about.
It's only small
before
anyway.
we start positive. So let's get some positivity.
There is a positive with it. So it's the Premier League team of the season. It was their last release on the Friday just gone, and basically I saved up a lot of the packs like I did for the team of the year thing, but this one bore way more fruit. It's because we're coming in towards the end game of it. But I think I've packed about 5 or 6 of them now, including obviously Harry Kane, favorite Jay. So he's one of the rarer ones to come by. And the reason why I bring it up was what they have every Friday is a Twitch stream where it showcases some of the new things that are coming out. And then at the end of the stream, they do giveaways. And I've been doing this stream thing for I've probably done about 20 of them. Obviously never had any kind of luck. And on the last Friday stream, my name got pulled on the stream. So that means...
wicked.
So it means you get to pick from any of the cards that are released that week. So, there's a super Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, Rashford, or
Cameron Carter-Vickers.
not so much him, but and De Bruyne. But I mean, they're like those cards again for like 5-6 million coins, and so they messaged me after the stream and just said congratulations. Give me a name and email address, and next week they'll send a link basically on how to redeem one of those cards.
Tradable or untradeable?
I don't think it said, but I mean, I plan on using it anyway, so it doesn't matter too much.
True, yeah.
I'm gonna got my eyes on the Super Haaland, so he's like 97 overrated, and he's a giant, speedy super beast. So
very nice.
Yeah, the fact I won the one of the Twitch stream things. Like usually you think those things are rigged kind of thing, but for the first time ever, I managed to win one. So
nice,
yeah. So positive.
And so
did you say this is like an Prime?
Yeah.
No, go on.
No, I say obviously Amazon Prime, don't they give you cards as well?
You get
Prime
like in-game loot packs. You get one a month that you can sort of get packs. Most of them are generally just general fodder and rubbish in there. You rarely get anything super decent from the prime packs, but you do get something once a month. But yeah, I managed to pull. It's got quite a few decent cards from it, and it's exciting. But that's all I kind of wanted to mention.
Happy days. Well, hopefully we'll hear back next week, and you'll be like, "I've got my link," and they send me a 97 rated, whatever it was you just said, Pedro Danez or whatever, and we can bask in your glory for a week or two until.
Oh no, but it was more the positivity of finally winning a competition, so it's quite a rare thing to occur. So I thought I'd bring it up a little bit by saying about that.
Yeah, unless you're Ian, who just seems to win everything because he's a fucking jammy git. Anyway. Right, I'll jump on quickly now. Then I've got a game I'm playing, which I reviewed this week as well, called Mia and the Dragon Princess, which is another Wales interactive / Good Gate Media live action choose your own adventure style game, and I really bloody enjoyed it. I mean, the complex is still top tier as far as I'm concerned, but this is definitely the best one I played probably since the complex, at the very least in the last year or so. So the gist is the lady you just saw in the trailer there is named Mashanda, and she is said Dragon Princess, and she sort of traveled through time somehow and sort of reappeared in London, modern day London, and she's attempting to escape the police because they're chasing a mad woman dressed in a medical gown through the streets of London as they would do. She goes into this bar, which is like an underground seedy looking bar, which is linked to where she's come from. So she's the Dragon Princess. She had a friend named Red. I forget her full name. And there's sort of clues and hints and stuff about her past in this bar. And she gets paired up with Mia, the titular Mia, and she helps her sort of figure out who she is, and depending on your choices, whether she finds what she's looking for, or whether the bad guys get win the day and stuff like that. And it's pretty short to get through. One plays probably 70 minutes at most. It's a very short game. It's all story. But I've played for it a couple of times now, and it gives you like a map of the different ways you can go, so you can easily see, oh, I've already gone down this path, so I'll try the other way and unlock some different scenes. And both of the main ones I've actually finished have been completely different. Like the first one, we found the treasure, we killed the bad guys, we saved the day, and then we were going off around the world sort of doing pirate treasure hunting and stuff like that. And the second one, just nothing went right at all. Everybody died. I fucking didn't find any clues or mysteries or anything, and yeah, it just went completely tits up. So I'm interested.
Don't lie, that was your first playthrough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, honestly, the first one fucking perfect. The second one, when I tried to do it bad, it absolutely shit the bed, and everyone died, and yeah, it was horrible. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Really interesting story. It's very British humour, as the clip at the beginning of the show. That's what that is from. Where she's saying, "Why did you get fire escapes? Fire escapes are for fannies." And then he smashes the guy over the head with a glass, and while they're in the middle of a big brawl. I forget the name of the director of the fight scenes, but they're quite a well-known sort of film director, I think. And the fight scenes of this are fucking brilliant. There's loads of quick camera cuts, and I don't know if you saw a bit in the trailer just then where the guy was like doing the scorpion with his legs over his head.
Yeah, I seen that. He got beat.
He got absolutely. I mean, he does get straight back up and carry on the fight, but he proper got absolutely rinsed.
He got owned.
There's loads of like awesome fight scenes and stuff, and there's loads more. I won't play any more clips because I'll spoil it too much. But loads of other awesome clips of like funny like one-liners and very British humor, and yeah, really enjoyed it. Definitely, like I said, the best one I played in the last year, and almost up there with the complex, or they're not quite. The complex is still far more expansive, I think, there's one because it is so short. But yeah, highly recommend. It's like a bit of live action, choose your own adventuring. I'd highly recommend Mia and the Dragon Princess. Very good. Anyone else can check out? Ian, I know you're a bit of a fan of them, aren't you?
Yeah, I like them. I might check it out. Might steal your account and try it out.
Yeah, like I said, just over an hour max to get for a playthrough as well. Worth a go. Ross, do you ever played it? I forget, are you into these sort of things?
I am into them, but I've never actually just decided to sit down and play them. Like every time you talk about them, I'm watching the trailer going, shit, that looks fantastic. And then I forget about it until the next week when you mention another one and go, oh shit, that looks fantastic. And yeah, rinse and repeat.
They're well worth a play. I mean, they're bringing them out at a pretty decent clip as well, because they only recently released 10 dates, and then it wasn't long before that where we played another one. So yeah, so there's always plenty to play, and yeah, definitely one of the better ones, this one. So go check it out right now. I don't think they're too expensive either, but I forget how much they are again because they're very kind and let me have a copy. Right, Ross. We've had Graham's FIFA chat, so we might as well go the other way. Go for it. Tell me all about your Football Manager network save that you've got going on.
So,
I know you're cutting out. Sorry, Ian. What else?
Doing pretty well on the network save. Both teams sitting 1 and 2 in the league. Brighton have pretty much wrapped the title up. I think they've got a 16-point or 18-point lead at the top of the table. They need a win.
Creme.
Yeah. They need a win from the last game to wrap the title up. I think I can't even remember who I've got in the league. I know I've got Bayern Leverkusen in the next round of the Champions League, but I can't remember who I've got to play in the league. City have disappeared this season. They've got Haaland that scored 27 goals and they're 8th. So they've capitulated. We did have a potential where we could have an FA Cup final and a Champions League final, having Brighton and Bristol City going head-to-head. The draws fell nicely. So semi-finals of the FA Cup, we are still both in. Hopefully going to have a nice final against each other. And the Champions League, Bristol City have let themselves down. They did have a stupidly difficult run to the final. They got drawn against Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and then the winner of either Man City and Real Madrid to get to going to be the route to the final. Whereas I've drawn PSG, Bayern, Leverkusen, and then the winner of AC Milan v Liverpool is my next round. Leverkusen got put down 5-0 away from home in the first leg, and they've got to come back to the Amex for the second leg. So that's a fairly comprehensive win for me into the semis. But yeah, looks like Brighton could be getting a double, if not a treble. And Bristol City have already won the Super Cup this year, the Carabao Cup, and they are in the Club World Cup as well. So it could be quite a trophy-filled season for both teams.
Doing well.
You're doing
We'll see.
well.
What year is this?
We are now in so it's
2023. You know.
It says FM 22, so that starts like the 21-22 season. So I think we are now in season 25-20. Hold on, let me see. So we've got transfers. Yeah, we're in 24-25, coming to the end of that season there. So
I trust you've got your big Bible next to you that you're flicking through your pages.
So 3 seasons in, and you won the league.
I won the league in my second season.
I'm going to say that's very good. I'm assuming that's good going. Well done, Ross.
Especially with Brighton.
Lost at the first season on goal difference to Liverpool, won at the second season. Third season, Bristol City lost out on the last day of the season. Fourth season, looks like I'm going to win the league.
I mean, probably cheating and probably read loads of saves. But okay, cool.
No need to cheat when you're this good.
That's some fighting talk. That is from Millie Man Ian there. He's just because you've got all the achievements now, so you're like a pro FM player.
Exactly. He knows how to fudge it.
Exactly, I know how to fudge it. It's not what he's doing.
I mean, he taught me things about the whole. What was it? The Icelandic division. Like get promoted with a team that they only play 10 games in the second division, and then take it to get them to win the top league in their country is one of the achievements. So they play 10 games, qualify for the Diddy division, then you just have to win a league. I was like, fuck, didn't know that. So yes, I don't cheese it, no, but I was impressed by Ian's strats.
I mean, he's got all the strats for the Chiefs.
He has got the strats for these ones, yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. Now, any more football manager discussion in Ross, or should we move on to another game?
We'll have the end of season review in the next episode, hopefully.
I'm very excited about this. I've actually got a bit of a cough coming on.
I'm so glad I'm not here for 5 weeks.
Graham, let's go back to you then. And you've got a bit of Dead Island on your list. So are you enjoying that still?
I've completed it.
Oh, nice.
Did not. And it was, I felt a little bit, I was like,
was
I
it unexpected?
Yeah, because the storyline really sort of picks up in like the final third. It gets a bit confusing at first because no one's taking anything kind of seriously. Then it starts to get a tiny bit more serious in the final third. And then just when it sort of gets to a climax bit, it's kind of a cliffhanger instead. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess it opens it up for another one. But yeah, I was totally into it towards the end. Sort of got my sort of key set of weapons, and yeah, I was kind of digging it. I was all over the sort of side quests, picking up different kind of quests. As I started to sort of even waste a bit of time. Oh, I didn't see Ross in there in the cousin, but yeah, totally recommend it. I mean, I know I think I gave it an 89 or 8.9 overall on the game, but yeah, I totally stand by that. This game is was super fun. The fact you can play it online with others as well kind of ramps up the kind of fun. But to play it through solo, it didn't lose any kind of its sparkle. It was a great way to play through, and yeah, can't say too many kind of good things about it. The way it kind of levels up with the cards, that's kind of a neat idea, and there's a lot of different kind of ways to kind of stack it. And yeah, towards the end, sort of guns become more sort of prevalent than the weapons, but you don't have to stay with the guns. You can keep with the melee weapons, or you can go with a kind of a blend as well. And yeah, I mean, you find blueprints to have mod your weapons a bit more, and that becomes a bit more kind of fun to play around with the different kind of mods. You get harder monsters towards the end. You get these little try to describe them. It's like something from out of House of the Dead. There's like zombies with like blades for arms, and they're like super quick. The ones that run against the walls and jump at you. It's like those kind of guys in the games, and they're probably like one of the toughest enemies there. And there's ones that looks like a giant moving vagina that comes towards you. And basically, if they get hold of you, they sort of grab a hold of you and maul you. But those enemies are quite sort of hard as well. But I mean, they're like the end game kind of sort of enemies. But other than that, it is, yeah, totally enjoyed it. And I'm still sort of going back, finishing off kind of the side quest, because after you finish it, you can go back and do it a bit more. Because not to spoil it too much, your guy goes, "No, I'm not coming away with you. I'm staying here to, find part of this, the end story." And so that's the reason why you stay around, and you get to finish off all the different kind of side quests that are going on around there. And I might still finish those off. It's quite rare that I ever kind of stick to a game after I completed it, but I'm totally enjoying this game. Totally recommend it.
Nice. I must admit, I've been half tempted to go back on my own a couple of times over the last few weeks, because it's been sitting there like something easy to get into, late in the evening. But I'd rather play it in co-op. So yeah, definitely join you at some point and smash through some missions. But good to hear you enjoying it. Good to see if you must be enjoying. Like, see if you can stick around afterwards and mop up some of the side stuff. Could we see the fabled 1000G from Graham?
No, I mean, I haven't even looked at what was on there, but there's going to be something that's completely tedious as hell.
Yeah, like find 1 billion feathers,
1,000 zombies in the dick or something rubbish. Yeah.
I mean, listen to you discussing the loot system and the weapon upgrades and the enemy variety and stuff, and I'm thinking maybe Dan Buster should come and save Redfall like they saved Dead Island. Took how many developers
took them long enough,
Dead Island out the door? Yeah. So yeah, maybe they need some assistance figuring out the shitty loot system in Redfall. But
yeah, the loot system in Dead Island is an awesome way to do it. You kind of know if you invest in the money, you can find the better weapons. You do the best side quests, then you get the best weapons. It's got a reap what you sow kind of style.
Yeah, not just here's 10 guns and hopefully one of them is any good. Right,
one of them
good.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, right. Well, gentlemen, I've been playing a little bit of Last Case of Benedict Fox. I'm only a few hours in. I'm not massively digging it as much as I'd hoped so far. I don't know if anyone else has had a chance to check it out yet. I was expecting more like a Limbo-esque, like 2D platform with a bit of puzzling and stuff, but it's more of a Metroidvania style game. So there's like an overworld map of there's a couple of different maps, and you can only progress so far until you unlock more abilities, and then once you've unlocked them, you can go back and get further, so on and so forth. But so far, it doesn't do a great job of explaining where you're going, what you're looking for, what you're looking for might be, or how to best use your powers. So there's, for example, there's one bit in one of the levels where there's like a green floor, which you can obviously smash through. It's sort of screaming at you like, "I am breakable. You can break me and get past." It's like, great. How do I do that? Don't know yet. Turns out I unlocked a power about 2 hours before that, but no tutorial, no prompt. There wasn't even a description in the upgrade menu that said this power smashes walls or anything. So I was just running around for ages, not even knowing I had this ability that I could use. Finally figured it out. smashed it, and then I'm back to yet another point where I'm like, how the fuck do I progress? I don't really know where I'm going. So it's not massively clear, but I am enjoying elements of it. Like the combat's not massively challenging, but it's quite interesting. But the puzzles are quite interesting. So far it's been a case of like unlocking different sort of symbol-based locks. So you'll get clues, and you've got to figure out the orientation of the shapes and stuff to unlock the door or unlock the drawer, whatever it is you're looking for. And although I have been paying attention to the cutscenes, and I'm quite interested by the story, it's not really also quite grabbing me properly yet, because it's all like murder mystery stuff. Like his parents, I think, are dead, and you're trying to figure out why. But at the same time, I don't think they're actually his parents. It's all very confusing. But yeah, I'm not enjoying it as much as I'd hoped, but I'll have a review of that this week. Hopefully, I get through it in the next couple of days. So yeah, out on Game Pass now. Definitely check it out if you're interested. But like I said, it didn't quite hit the mark for me as much as I'd hoped so far. Which seems to be the theme of the week. Pardon?
Was that one multiplayer, or is that just a single player?
No, it's just a single player, just 2D Metroidvania style game. It looks very pretty though. I like all the colours and stuff are really, really nice. And yeah, there was one puzzle section where you're like trying to fight off enemies while you're trying to traverse this little area to complete the puzzle, and that was quite hard actually. But mainly because my character wouldn't fucking grab onto the ledge when I was trying to jump across the fucking hole. So just fucking grab on, falling down, you bastard. And then I played something else instead to calm down and come back and did it. But yeah, worth check out. But yeah, not quite as enjoyable as I'd hoped thus far. Right, gentlemen. Unless anyone else, Ross, you got anything else you want to talk about? All beans. Let's move on then, because we've been going for an hour on the things we've been playing, which is wonderful. We play lots of video games here, but we also do other things. Ross, tell me all about those other things in the wonderful pluggles that you do. No, you're on mute. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Ross.
Oh,
I don't know, Ian.
Up the plug.
I don't know, Ian. Patreon.com/Xbox Tavern. Come support us with your hard-earned cash if you are able to. It is greatly appreciated. Helps the show stay running, the website stay running, keeps all these little fancy graphics that you see on our live stream all nice and pretty. Apple and Spotify podcasts, best place to get the podcast in your ears. If you could jump over there and rate us 5-star, that'd be incredibly grateful. Written reviews, Jay will have a list of reviews later on in the show over at www.xboxtavern.com. Socials have been running along the bottom of the screen since the start of the show. Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You'll find us there in some variation of at Xbox Tavern or at Xbox Tavern Official. Discord. Gray has now joined us in the wonderful world of Guess the Game. Not before long. He's taking his time to join in, but he's now starting to even pull Jay up for slacking off for a couple of days. What's this all about?
I haven't missed a day, but I was much later than I usually am the last couple of days. I must admit.
Jay's always
normally I can set my watch at like 8 minutes past midnight. All right, that's Jay playing Guess the Game. Yep.
Yeah, no, I was slacking a few. Although last night's one was 3 a.m. Fucking got it in one. Smashed it.
Man, that's what I like to hear. We don't only just talk about Guess the Game. You can jump in and talk about games, talk about whatever you might have seen on the show. It's not strictly for, unless you play Guess the Game, you can't get into the Discord.
But that's the best reason for it.
But it is one of the good reasons to jump into the Discord channel. And
he's doing it now. Look at him. Look at he's doing it now.
He's like,
sorry.
Fuck. And last but by no means least, insert coin. Xbox Tavern 23 can be used for £5 off orders over £50. There is a new. I had a couple of things in my basket because they've now done an Age of Empires range. So I was like, ooh, I want it.
This looks so familiar.
No, he's stumped.
He's on Guess a Game while we're plugging away. Yeah, definitely go check out Insert Coin. There's loads. Cause I've got my package the other day. I think I've showed off my t-shirt last week or the week before. But I've got some awesome Gears of War trousers now. They fucking rock. Love them. Anyway, yeah, go check them out. Thank you very much, Ross, for giving us a good plug-in once again.
You got this in one?
Damn, I got it in one.
I didn't get it at all. I know that Jay's played that game before, but I've never.
I now need to have a look.
I've not played much of it, but yeah, I have dabbled in it in the past. But yeah, they're a good game. Anyway, while you look at the Guess a Game and see if you can match my elite level skills at remembering pointless things from my past, let's talk about the news, shall we? And we're going to talk about the future
it's an old
to start
game.
with. It's an old game. Microsoft have announced the start time for this summer's Xbox Game Showcase, which was previously confirmed to be on Sunday, June 11th, so just over a month at this time of recording. It will begin at 10 a.m. PT, 1 a.m. ET, 6 p.m. in the only time that matters BST, and 7 p.m. CET. And so that's a pretty decent time for us, really, because we can watch that and then we can record the podcast afterwards and discuss it. And we're not doing drinking games during it again because I'm not having that again. It does say here on VGC that it's not clear how not clear how long it will last, but it'll be directly followed by Starfield Direct presentation, which is offering a deep dive into Bethesda's sci-fi RPG. And let me just read their quote. They've got, join us for some new surprises and first looks from our incredibly talented internal studios and our many creative partners around the world. This is the day that gamers have been waiting for to see what is coming to Game Pass on all the consoles it's coming on. And then you obviously get developer interviews, new gameplay, behind the scenes, inside information about Starfield. So, gentlemen, we discussed Redfall in great depth earlier on about how much they missed the mark. I think we'll get on to Phil Spencer's interview in a little bit, but standing on its own, looking at this, both the showcase and specifically probably the Starfield Direct, they can't afford to fuck this up, basically, because they were pitching Redfall as their, this is the first exclusive from Arcane since we bought them. This is the first big game of the year, really. I know we've had a few smaller ones like surprise dropped and stuff, but this is the one that's going to really start turning things around, and they absolutely shit the bed. Ross, I know you're, again, as we say, you're probably the biggest proponent of Starfield and looking forward to it. I know we're all looking forward to it, but you're like the biggest fan, I would say. What do you want to see? What do you think they need to show? And do you think there's any way they can have it where people won't come out of it going, oh yeah, but the texture on the ground looked a bit naff?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I am scared for Starfield. The comments that Phil was making about we'll never we've lost the console war type idea, the way that he was going on about it, we lost the generation that we had to win, and because of that we'll never catch PlayStation now, and we're not only just about the Xbox, we've got our Xbox, we've got our PC, we've got a cloud, and I'm like, you're not filling me with a lot of confidence that you're capable of putting out games to the level of God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, Uncharted. He doesn't. I could be wrong, but the way that interview came across to me was like he's setting the groundwork for. But we've always said that we are looking to fill all these spaces, and that worries me for Starfield. I want them, because he's also came out and said that they won't do a Redfall in 2 weeks before the game comes out. Oh, by the way, we're only going to be playing it in 30 frames per second. Sorry. So he has said that at the show, or he said way before the showcase, or way before the launch date, you'll know what the performance things are, whether it be 4K 30, 1080 60, a hybrid mixture type idea. You'll know all of that in advance, and I think fans are going to get pissed off when they hear that as well, because I think it's going to be a locked 4K 30.
Yeah, we'll mix in the kindly funny Xcast interview stuff before we carry on. Graham and Ian, have you watched the Xcast interview at all? It was very interesting, like an hour interview with Phil Spencer.
No, I heard things about I was pissed off they lost the generation and stuff. I heard
that snippet.
I also feel like he threw Arcane under the bus as well.
In a manner of speaking,
I think he was more just pissed off in general.
It was the whole
we gave you a delay. You're meant to smash out the park in, and this is going to be our year, and then it just was a clusterfuck. And it was like, I think they hid something from him, and that's the reason why he's pissed off. It seems like, again, I watched the whole thing. It was very interesting. I'd highly recommend go check it out, because he's for like a CEO or COO or whatever the job title is. He's very honest about. Maybe a little bit too honest, but he's very look, this was shit. Like I think at one point Paris asked him, he said, you didn't necessarily hitting all these games out in the next 12 months. He goes, no. Not necessarily. We didn't do it, Paris. Don't try and sugarcoat it. We fucked up, basically.
And he was very like blunt, and he even said like, I'm grumpy Phil today because obviously that was 2 days after the Redfall reviews come out, and everybody bashing on it again, in our opinion, or my opinion at least, rightly so. And he was very open. But what concerned me with the Starfield one specifically was Snowboat Mike asked him, will we know at the showcase whether we'll be playing in Starfield in 60 frames or 30 frames? Not. And Phil Spencer said yes.
Yeah.
He didn't say yes, you'll be playing at blah, or Mike didn't ask, will it be 60 frames? Yes. He said, will we know what it will be? Yeah. And again, like the whole thing with Redfall, 30 frames, it really doesn't make a blind bit of difference as far as I'm concerned. But in terms of the perception, if they do come in and say it's 4K 30, or even if it's fucking 1080p 30 for some reason, because it's obviously going to be a massive open game, the shitstorm they're going to endure, even if the game is great before launch, is just going to absolutely wipe out any sort of goodwill they've got going. So they have to come to the showcase and fucking knock it out of the park with good looking gameplay. If it's going to be 30, show a reason why it's going to be 30, not just because like Redfall, it's just a technical mess. Like it has to be like the most incredible looking and playing thing you've ever seen. To be like, well, it's 30, but at least I get to do all of this stuff in it, like rather than being like, well, it's a boring open world with shitty guns and crappy loot, and I can only play at 30 frames a second if you're bothered about that sort of thing.
The thing I think is going to be like, this game is, it's hard to see any other way around it, but this game is going to get panned. It's a Bethesda game for a start, and Bethesda games are plagued with bugs. So you are always going to get the naysayers when this game comes in. Oh, it's a buggy mess. Oh, it's unplayable. Oh, it's game breaking. Blah, 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 blah. What it needs to be able to do is it needs to be Fallout New Vegas. It needs to be Fallout 3. It needs to be even Fallout 4 to an extent. It needs to be Skyrim. It needs to be so good to play, as in the experience and the story, that the bugs get overshadowed.
Yeah, which generally things like Skyrim and Fallout,
and that's what I'm saying. That's why I have faith in Bethesda to do that. Yeah. My worry is if they go into the game launch with all the negativity for 30 frames per second, 30 FPS. If they go in and it's like that, if it's not perfect 4K, if there's wee odds and sods like that, for example, before the game launches, and then you get the bugs. Because there will be bugs. It's too big a game for there not to be bugs. It's not going to be stressed.
There's going to be day one images of people and characters flying off the screen, or
exactly, of course,
heads rolling, or whatever. But that's
The Witcher
that's just people nitpicking. Yeah,
like there's always going to be, especially in games of this size and scope, it's always going to happen. But what it can't have is all the negativity prior to it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they come up, like, there's no reason why they can't come out and just go, right, it's 4K 30, it's 1080 60. There's your two options off the bat. Simple as. I'd much rather they focused on creating both flawless experiences. I don't need it to be 4K 60 and then the 60 frames being shit. I'll quite happily take a lower resolution to get a perfect frame rate, and alternatively, I'll quite happily take a lower frame rate to get a perfect resolution.
Yeah, well, like you said, just keep it simple. Two options. Don't fuck around with anti-analyzing and all. Just give me this.
Jedi Survivor has been plagued with this as well. The performance mode, and even some PlayStation 5, it's been a big issue as well. Performance mode is shit. It is fucking up the game. It cannot maintain 60 frames, and in most places it's mid-50s. And what you're getting is 50, 50, 50, 12. 50, 50, 12, 50, 12. And it's like, why would I want 60 frames if it's going to plummet like that when you get into a tight area with loads of detail?
Yeah.
So I'm not a stickler that it needs to be this or that, but I'd rather we lose some resolution to get a solid one, and vice versa as well. Don't try and put all your eggs in one basket that we can guarantee hit 4K 60, because in a game this size, you're going to break it.
Yeah, and I mean, we're focusing on the technical aspect of 4K 60, 1080, blah, 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 blah. If it doesn't matter if it runs at 60 frames, if the game looks boring, or if there's nothing to do, or the quests are rubbish, or the characters are annoying, there's no point to explore the 10 billion trillion planets they got in it. They have to show off either a full mission or like chunks of a mission where there's something interesting to do. You're not just, hi, I am sorry, dead the camera. Hi, I need you to go and collect 5 scorpion tails for me. Okay, and then you just go and find and then come back. Thank you.
Oh, it's not going to be that bad. They haven't done that stuff since like the old school Elder Scrolls ones.
As long as there's no follow missions, like follow this man. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, it needs to be something interesting, and it has to be a point to. I'm not expecting all 1,000 planets to have 55 missions each where they're all really in depth, but the main missions and even the side missions, like the faction quests, they've got to be interesting, and they've got to have. I don't want to say a point because there's no point to any games really. Is there? Like you're playing it for fun, but there's got to be something to sort of keep you invested, not just be like, go here. Why? Because all right, I guess I will. And also the base building and stuff, the base building and the ship building and stuff. That stuff, I mean, that's already putting me off because I'm not interested in the slightest. But for the people who do care, that has got to be nailed as well. That you can't be like, oh, well, you can't build here because this doesn't work, or you can't use this material with. You got to just be like, right, this is the system. Build what you want. Here you go, and it works wonderfully, and it works easy, and it looks great, and it's great to use. Whatever. It can't be
the
like.
thing I would say is they've got like. If I had to pick a developer to design a fleshed out story with great side quests and things like that, Bethesda would be one of them. Because New Vegas is brilliant for story and side quests. Skyrim, brilliant for story and side quests, even all the DLCs on top of all of them. Same with Fallout 4. So having enough content in it, I'm not too worried about. Story-wise, I think they'll smash the story as well. When you're saying about like the base building, the ship building, they done it in 4. It was fine. I enjoyed having the ability to build up my base in 4. Same with 76. It was one of the better things, even from the very get-go, that you could build a big sort of base for yourself, which they basically, like I say, rip straight out of 4. So those things don't worry me as much. Like I say, the technical side is what I'm more concerned with.
Yeah, but again, whether it is a tech side or the gameplay side, they've got to smash everything out. And this trailer, whatever they next month, has got to be. There's always going to be people nitpicking. Even with Redfall, I saw so many people who just were jumping on the bandwagon because it was getting bad reviews. They were jumping on and posting every single tiny bug they got, every single glitch or thing that went wrong. Oh, look how shit this is. Like, yeah, but that's like one tiny bit. They're going to do this tenfold for Starfield because it's such a bigger game. Got so much more hype behind it. Even one character's arm twisting the wrong way when they're holding a gun or something. It's just they're going to absolutely rinse it. So they've got to smash this showcase out of the park. And again, to go back to Phil Spencer's interview, one of the things he did say was there's no world in which they release Starfield. It's 11 out of 10 and everybody gets rid of their PS5s and goes buys an Xbox. But I think he's looking at that slightly wrong because you don't want them to. It's not about people getting rid of their PS5s. It's about people coming in and playing on Xbox. So they just need to make a really fucking tremendous game where they can go, do you know what? I think it's time I finally pick up Game Pass, or I finally go pick up a Series S or X. Because that's the other problem, Series S. How is that going to handle all of this fucking stuff going on? I mean, I haven't even tried Redfall on Series S yet, but I imagine it's fucking dire compared to the X version, which is already pretty dire. But yeah, they've got to nail it, and they've got to not worry about getting people to swap over. Just get people to come and join in as well. Everybody play together. Like we always say, Fusion Fingers, Ian and Graham, you've been very quiet. Sorry, I know we and Ross were getting into it then. We can keep going, I feel like, for a long time.
With the technical side, it's not just an Xbox game, is it? It's PC as well. So you think they've still got enough stuff to sort of ramp it up on there to be like the 700 fucking frames a second you get on a PC. They've still got to have some sort of allowances for that, so they can jizz every last. True,
but then, but for something like that, you would need like the ultra. What are up to now? Like 4080s or whatever it is now.
4090s.
49.
I just think you've got to have some faith there as well. I mean, I think we're all in this. Well, you guys, I'm not saying you all, are in a very negative light because how shit Redfall was. Whereas I'm still quite optimistic. I think it's going to be a brilliant game.
Well, I mean, it's a different thing though, isn't it? That's Arcane, whereas this is kind of Bethesda. This is the ones that are sort of the masters of
I think because Redfall's had such a bad rep now, I was like, oh, Starfield's going to be the same. Starfield's going to be shit. It's like, well, completely different entity, completely different game. Let's just see what happens.
No, it is. It's completely different. Like you guys say, you're completely right. But I think the general the consensus is
because one game was bad.
I mean, they fucked Halo up. They fucked Redfall up. I mean, even early Gears they fucked up. So now
Gears is fucked up anyway. So I'll go there.
Well, yeah, but this is something that they need to nail, because if they can't nail this one, which I'm not saying they can't, but if for some reason they don't, why would you then stick around for Hellblade or Perfect Dark or whatever else they got coming out in the next couple of years? Because there's no, if they can't nail the biggest game of the year after how long, like 20 odd years has been in development or whatever, like how can they? Yeah,
let's just wait and see though. Let's
I'm full of positivity, of course, but
as a reverse positive, if it does sort of tank in this garbage, at least it'll kill the buzz for the next Elder Scrolls. Again, if it's going to be anything like this, it's not even point waiting for it. Getting anticipation for it.
Please no base building in Elder Scrolls. Please no base building in Elder Scrolls. But yeah, anyway, right.
Didn't they have like fucking house building in Skyrim? Oh fucking hell.
I think they added it in as a DLC, which I didn't actually get around to. But
yeah,
I mean, we got a month to wait. I'm sure we'll discuss it much more on the day when it's showcased, and hopefully we'll be a hell of a lot more positive. But
I want drinking games now. Now you've mentioned it.
There's drinking games happening in the story.
So there's not just a Starfield Direct, obviously, which I would argue that's probably the bigger of the two showcases they've got going on. They've got the main one as well. I don't think they've announced what they're going to be showing, but they need to show something from their many other games. He did tease again in the Kind of Funny interview. He teased that there would be surprises, there'd be new stuff. He didn't tease like a shadow drop necessarily, but there's got to be some sort. Well, hopefully there'll be some sort of thing. And one thing that did stand out to me was he said, that he knows that he can say all the words in the world saying, "Oh, Starfield's going to be great," or "This is going to be great," "That's going to be great." But until people get their hands on the controller, it's all for nothing basically. Like that, the key element is people playing the game and knowing whether it's any good or not. So I'm wondering whether we might get not a demo of Starfield, obviously, but some like higher profile demos, maybe a tease of Perfect Dark or Fable or the new Forza or something that we're like. There's a whole raft of demos out now that you can play where this is going to prove how much we're investing into these new games, and hopefully everybody will be like, "Oh my god, it's amazing! This game is great." Not like Redfall where nobody played it until launch day and it was fucking dreadful. So anyone got any thoughts on what they want to see from the showcase? Whether you might think I'm hoping a bit with the demos. The floor is yours.
Just anything. A palate cleanser from Redfall. Just a delicious palate cleanser. Something that they can give us to sort of, I mean, hopefully Starfield will be enough, but something else to sort of help us by the time until that comes out.
Because there's a big gap now, isn't there, between Redfall and Starfield? They haven't really got any else. I know Forza's out at some point, but I don't think there's anything else they've got announced that's coming out yet, like with a date, I should say. So hopefully we get some dates for like Hellblade and maybe even Fable, perhaps. I think that's probably hoping a bit with Starfield this year as well. Ian, anything you want to see from the main showcase itself?
You getting drunk?
Fucking hell.
I want Jamie falling asleep on me.
Wait, what's the date? June 11th, isn't it? Are we even going to be around? Are we at the stag do then?
We come back on the stag do that day.
Oh.
No, we do. Yeah, on this. So we have alcohol in us still.
So it's going to be like 5 days of just solid drink. Oh, yeah, we'll see what happens. Shall
I try and ask a venue for one more day and we can stay up there? Do a show from the actual stag do venue. I want to put the Wing House for one more day, please.
Just until 8 p.m.
Ross can come down. What do I want to see?
Other than that, yeah.
But I don't think we'll see anything new, will we?
Well, he reckons there'll be some surprises and some new things out. But again,
Hi-Fi Rush DLC.
I was going to say, is that a Hi-Fi Rush-esque thing, or is that some massive game, a la more info on Elder Scrolls or Fable?
If Hi-Fi Rush DLC, I'll be very happy.
Nice. And what about yourself, Ross? I know obviously Starfield's the main jobby, but anything else you want to see more?
I'd like some info on Fable. Like, we've not had nothing to do with Fable at all. So anything along that sort of line, just even if it's another just like trailer.
Yeah.
But give me something to tell me about Fable, because it just seems
we haven't
to
even
have
had any in-game stuff yet, have we? It's just
No.
been a CG trailer so far.
It's just disappeared off the face of the planet.
Which again is concerning because they announced all these games, and obviously they announced things like Redfall, went quiet for ages, come out, shit the bed. So now you got Fable, Perfect Dark, Hellblade, what's it called, Senua's Saga, and there's more I can't think of right now. But I'll be surprised if anything shits the bed as much as Redfall has. But they don't have the greatest track record so far. So let's get some wins, please, gentlemen. Please. So yeah, so we'll see. But that again, that's in June 11th. So we're watching at 6 p.m. BST on the Sunday evening. Hopefully we won't all be too we'll be able to hungover from our 4-day stag do we've got just prior to that. But yeah, so it should be good fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else particularly noteworthy from the kind of funny X-cast. I know there was a lot of sound bites and stuff he come out with. I'm sure there are one or two. Ross, you got anything else you want to bring up from that, or should we do a few quick hits?
I think we've ticked the boxes on most of it.
Let's do it.
I think so. Yeah, again, it's very well worth watching. They did a really good job of interviewing him and asking the tough questions. Even like I said, when they were trying to baby mode it a bit and be like, "Oh, don't worry, Phil, we'll ask you an easy one." They'd be like, "No, it's all shit. I'm fucking had enough." I think at one point he even said, he said, our messaging is not the best, and someday it might not even be me sitting here, and like alluding to, he even said about the people on hashtag fire Phil on Twitter. He's like, I know there's a lot of people wanting to fire me today, but I'm hoping we could. I was like, just Phil, you don't hear Jim Ryan come. Well, I don't hear Jim Ryan saying anything because he's a fucking useless. Like he can't even hold a fucking Jim Layton. But yeah, no, it's really interesting. Highly recommend watching it or listening to it on podcast services around the globe. But yeah, really good. Anyway, a couple of quick hits. You've got Xbox PC Game Pass. If you have that, either via your Ultimate subscription or indeed if you just have PC Game Pass, you can offer 14-day trials. Is it
something like that? I remember seeing that pop up.
I was hoping someone had the information as well. I have to click the window, but I will. So
I got distracted.
You see here, yeah, it says you enable Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass members to give up to 5 friends a free 14-day PC Game Pass trial. So just PC Game Pass, not Xbox Game Pass, but still pretty nifty. Definitely, if you got it and you got some friends with PCs who aren't convinced yet of the power of the wonder of Game Pass, get them to play Redfall with you, and then they won't ever talk to you again. So it's good. We can go from there. They've also announced Xbox announced a permanent price cut for the Xbox Series S and X storage expansion cards from Seagate. So they have dropped by quite a big margin, I think, in the US at least anyway. So they're all roughly, I don't know, 20%, I should say. So we've got the 512 one, which is now $90, which used to be $140. The 1 terabyte one, which is $150, down from $220. And 2 terabyte, which is $280, down from $400 for a memory card.
I'm going to Merck in a couple of weeks. I'm thinking, I might get one, and I realise, I'll probably, and then I realise, no, I'll probably just delete stuff, and then that's an excuse not to play that game.
I mean, 280 is fucking pushing it, but $400. Jesus, well. Anyway, again, this is only in America so far. I think the UK ones are still showing up at their original prices, but I imagine it won't be long before we see some sort of drop.
I might go to the US and buy loads and then just bring them back and try and sell them.
Yeah, I'll give you 20 quid for one. That's about the maximum I'm willing to pay for one of them. The Titanfall director is working on something new at Respawn. Again, no firm information, but what's his name here? Steve Fukuda. I'm going to pronounce that correctly, not make any errors there. He's got a very small team in the early stages of developing an original IP at Respawn Entertainment. So not an actual new Titanfall game, but something new. And his mission is to find the fun in something new. So hopefully we'll get to see something along those lines at some point this year, perhaps. But it's not going to be a new Titanfall. So let's move on from that one. And then finally, we're not going to go into depth because I'm sick and tired of talking about it. But the EU CMA blocked the Microsoft Activision merger, which I don't think we discussed last week, obviously, because we had the quiz.
Thank fuck for that.
I mean, they're trying to turn it around, but who knows whether they'll be able to. At this point, who really cares? I'm sick and tired of talking of it. Either do it or don't. Let's just move on from that. And
they will turn it around. It's just a case of it was always going to go this way, and it's a case of them going to do this, then they'll pay them off. They go, okay, now it's turned around because the two other places said yes.
Just going to cost them more money than they wanted, I think, really more than anything. But yeah,
exactly that. And then, but when the UK go, here's more Microsoft money, you go, okay, we'll pay now. That's what it is.
Yeah, so just as we thought we were getting to the end of it, the CMA turned around and went, actually, no, well, fuck you. And they based it on cloud gaming, which Phil and Brad Sams and stuff will come out and said, what are you on about? You have no idea what you're talking about. But obviously, it's not as easy as trust us, we'll be fine. But I'm sick and tired of talking about it. Anyone got any thoughts and opinions on the CMA and the Activision Blizzard deal? No?
I hope it drags on for another 3 years because it's just immense.
I mean, it fucking will.
I have so much fun with it.
It's just going to drag on and on and on and on. But, I mean, this podcast is dragging on a bit because we're an hour and a half already. We talked a long time about Redfall. So I hope you really enjoyed our bashing of that wonderful game. But let's move on to things and stuff, including things coming to Game Pass. I'm going to go to Ross. Ross, do you want to tell me all about games that are coming to Game Pass this month?
Rapid fire time there, so because there's quite a few. So May 2nd, we had Redfall, which was the Series X, Series S PC cloud. May 4th, we had Ravenlock, which is console, PC, and cloud. May 8th, Weird West Definitive Edition, Series X and Series S. May 9th, Shadowrun Trilogy on PC. May 11th, Fuga Melodies of Steel 2, console, PC, cloud. 23rd is Amnesia, The Bunker, and Planet of Lana. And they're both coming to console. Cassette Beasts on the 25th coming to console. Railway Empire 2 coming to console and PC. And on May 30th, rounding out the month, we have Far World Pioneers on console and PC.
Nice, a decent list. So that Weird West supposedly is very interesting, like immersive sim style game, like something from Arcane. But it's more like a top-down thing. And now that we've got a definitive edition coming to the Series X and S, it's been in Game Pass for ages, but the new version's coming to it. So yeah, it might be worth a check out.
Besiege also returned to Game Pass as well. I'm not sure if you said that.
It did, as well as did Quantum Break. It's back on there as well now.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
that was much ado about nothing. Oh, it's gone. I was back. Okay, Graham, Ian, things are leaving Game Pass. So do you want to break our hearts?
Yep. So unfortunately, games leaving is Her Story, My Friend Pedro, Before We Leave, Hearts of Iron 4, and 2 games which I'm about to butcher. Danganronpa 2, Goodbye, Despair Anniversary Edition, and Umurangi Generation Special Edition.
You did a fine job there, it's a fine job indeed. Yes, go play them before they leave very soon. And Graham, Games with Gold, if you're still redeeming those wonderful titles, which I did earlier on actually. I redeemed the first one here, so let us know what they are.
So we've got Peaky Blinders, which is available until the 15th of May. I can't believe this is on here, but Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, May the 1st to the 31st. And Hoa that's coming on May the 16th, which will stretch to June the 15th.
Nice. I did play a bit of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer earlier on. I was trying to get... Was that the game that the quote's from?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because I was trying to get him to say it, and he wouldn't say it. And I was like, so I played one race and I gave up.
What quote?
He's got a load of them. Someone even did a YouTube of all of his quotes from that game just because it's so funny. But Jay did a really good impression of it, but he missed out part of the phrase.
I did miss the phrase, but yeah, when you go to the show, they come and then they buy. Why then they buy? That's been going for years.
I remember that game from my youth. It was on the N64. I remember that one. It was just so good.
Yeah, go. Like I said, I redeemed that other quick race, and then that was enough for me because I don't really like Star Wars, as I said earlier on. But yeah, go check them out. They're free. Why not? We've got reviews on the website, as Ross alluded to earlier on. I always forget to do this part. We've got War Mongrels, which is reviewed by AJ. Give it a 2 out of 10 because he said it was shit. But as you can guess, getting a 2 out of 10. Got me and the Dragon Princess, which I gave an 8.5. Redfall, which I gave a 4. And Disney Speedstorm, which is, I don't think it's free to play. I think it's a purchase one, but it's like a Mario Kart style racer, which is on Game Pass early access, or what's it called, game preview in it. So yeah, go check that out. Reviews are up there now. We've got a few more coming up this week, including couple of hardware ones, I think, and as well as a couple of other games which I'm playing this week, and some of the other lads are playing. So we shall let you know about them next week. But for now, gentlemen, unless anyone else got anything drastic they want to bring up regarding Redfall or Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition, I think we can call it yet another podcast.
I'm fine with that.
Nice. Well, Ian, I know I can see you talking, but I can't hear what you're saying. So this is good
I
stuff.
said I'm going to miss you guys.
Yes, you're off for 5 years now. Have a wonderful time in Portugal and Florida.
That is it. Yes.
I'm
and then
very jealous again. And then stag do, and then wedding, and then
before Sunday.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. That June 11th, we'll be watching. I don't know. Obviously, we haven't discussed this prior, but I'm assuming we're going to want to try and do some sort of live stream alongside the showcase, and then discuss it afterwards. If we're in a fit state, we'll discuss it later on / further down the month. But yeah, if you want to come and join us for that, that'd be wonderful.
Unfortunately, I'm not back until the 18th of June, so
might have a couple of special one-off sort of podcasts coming up at some point in the next few months. I need to discuss with some people, a few interviews and stuff, but not interviews, but discussions about certain types of video games. Anyway, look forward to them. Gentlemen, thank you very much, Graham. Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you very much, Ross, for joining me once again on this wonderful Sunday, 8 p.m.
Yes.
We shall see you all next week at 8 p.m.-ish for episode 118. And until then, enjoy video games, play anything but Redfall, and have a wonderful week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.